What are
Continue.
you saying? How is that even possible?
Tatiana was sterile. That was our personal tragedy. But when Semenov imprisoned her after the Duga fiasco, she fell pregnant. At first, I thought Boris was the father, and I was angry with her. But that was another of Semenov's lies. He needed me to stay on the project and study Chernobylite, so he injected Tanya with the nano solution. What happened next was, I don't know what to call it, an immaculate conception. She gave birth to a boy, you. You grew much more quickly than other kids, but your mind didn't seem to follow. It was different somehow. The Chernobylite no doubt affected you in unpredictable ways. I never really considered you my son. You scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what to do with you. But it was obvious that Semenov would incorporate you into his experiments. Or maybe cut you open and rummage around inside.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Until one night, Tanya, your mother, communicated with me telepathically, even though her body was in a coma. She pleaded with me to release you into the woods, and that's what I did.
You're saying Tatiana's child, who you released in the woods in 1990? But that's impossible. Impossible! I don't remember any of this.
Of course you don't. You looked like a teenager, but had the mind of a small child. I remember giving you a sweater that Tatiana knitted for me. The night was so cold. It had my name on it.
The sweater? I had it in the camp. I was imprisoned and...
Yes, it could have been a trigger. Your mind somehow began to rebuild itself. Why in my image? I can only guess. Perhaps you were constructed from Tatiana's desires, from her expectations of a child. Funny how I called it pseudoscience. I suspect the process was somehow facilitated by the Chernobylite.
But she's been calling me this whole time. She wanted me here.
I'm afraid you were bamboozled, my poor boy. We all were. It wasn't Tanya who called you here, but it.
Chernobylite? But the images, the voices...
They felt so real, I know. Your mother was your biggest weakness, and the entity exploited that. It wanted you here. It has plans for you, you see, and I cannot allow it to succeed.
Someone sent me a photo of Tatiana and the piece of Chernobylite. Those weren't hallucinations. They were real. I couldn't have constructed my portal gun without them.
Oh, that. It was that bastard Semenov, of course. He wanted to bring you here as well. He never got over it when you vanished. Not that it matters now. I really hoped you would stay away. But it's too late now. I can't allow you to interact with the entity in any way. Only one of us is leaving this room alive.
Wait, can't we talk it over?
We just did. Goodbye, son.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up,
I
son.
wish there was another way.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's also cheating, by the way.
Why did you have to come here and complicate things? Come on, show me the new and improved Igor Kiminyak. Give up already. I promise to make it quick for Tatiana's sake. I wish there was another way. Go easy on me. I won't do the same for you.
Getting missed messages here.
Make it quick, for Tatjana's sake.
Well, nothing worked. His gas mask like Bane.
I don't need a force field to defeat you.
I told you to watch Tanya. How on earth did you get in here?
Focus, Igor. Look familiar?
Where did you get that from?
Where else? I took it from you. From your cold, dead hands, Igor.
What? Where? When?
In a reality where you fucked up, my friend. From one of the many worlds bearing the brunt of your failures.
Are you saying that you come from a different... that you're from...
This is hell. You have no idea.
Where are you going?
Back to my screwed up world, of course. You know me. I'd prefer to die fighting.
Wait!
Don't waste the chance I've given you, Igor. Finish the job.
I'm so confused.
It's over, my son. Close the portal. Cut the connection.
Son, please. It will kill her. It will kill the love of my life. Of our life. Please. There's another way.
Just let me go. I've suffered long enough.
You can do this, son. You can be the man I could not. Be the better version of me. Go through the portal and face this thing. Undo the harm we both caused Tanya.
No, do not do this. Kill me. Just kill me, please. Finish it.
I mean, I'm gonna follow the woman.
It's time to end this once and for all. If anyone can hear me, run as far from here as you can. Everyone, run like hell.
Blow this shit up, son. What? Hey, no. Oh, here we go. No, that's not it either. Oh, here we go. Aha! Nope.
Thank you for showing me the way. I won't waste this, I promise.
So is my mother wife.
Goodbye. You can rest now.
The protagonist never explained to his comrades exactly what happened at the power plant, but he came out changed. The Chernobylite vanished entirely. The zone is now free of it. Igor stalkers drove off the remaining NAR troops and even convinced a few of them to join the cause. Now they're working together for the good of the Samoshels, tracking down the few remaining monsters still roaming the area. Olivier never had the chance to change his own history and prevent the ambush that wiped out his team. Igor's example convinced him to abandon his plan and accept his flawed past. That tragedy, after all, made him the man he was. With time, he made his peace and, in the end, was grateful to be part of something bigger than himself. Once the events in the zone were finished, he sought out Anton's fiancée and took care of both her and her daughter. In spite of his flaws, Olivier will always be remembered in the zone for his courage and grit.
If you go in, you get more lore, but a worse ending. Gotcha.
Mikhail's life was always full of violence. He was the angriest, most obnoxious man Igor had ever known, but he was also unfailingly honest, both with himself and others. Mikhail's thirst to avenge his murdered friends was his main driving force, but working with Igor and the others eventually made him appreciate the kinder aspects of life. In spite of his rough manner and the darkness inside him, Igor came to like the neurotic stalker, and by the end, considered him a true colleague.
Yeah, I like Mikhail a lot.
Mikhail decided to remain in the zone and join the others in protecting their shared home.
Reminds me very much of Trevor.
Sashko had
from,
always been the lone
GTA
wolf
5.
and daredevil of the zone. Life had always been harsh for him, and he learned the hard way to rely only on himself. His crusade against NAR began with a desire for closure regarding his brother Ruslan's death, but Igor's quest to find Tatiana was what kept him going until the finish line. After the events in the zone, Sashko decided to go back to Moscow and face the hard truth about his parents' death. Eventually, he would return to Pripyat, which became his second home. Tarakon's fight against the Rat King has reached an end. Having barely survived the zone, he realized his time was up. Now, someone else must carry the torch and defeat the evil lurking in the power plant. But Tarakon wasn't worried. After all, he had prepared Igor and others well.
The Rat King.
Tarakon's true identity was never discovered. Was he a madman, a saint, a spy? Perhaps he was all of these, or perhaps none of them. But one thing is certain. The old man was a true child of Pripyat. His restless soul will forever wander its marshes and woods. Like so many before him, General Kozlov made the wrong choices while chasing a dream of the good life. War taught him about the cruelty and inevitability of loss, leaving him indifferent to human suffering. His experiences made him strong, but also blind to the serendipitous
Oh, is there a
moments
way to
which could have
save
placed his
all
life
of,
on a
like,
different
to
trajectory.
save Kozlov,
And
to
so his
save
death was as
Semenyov?
empty as his life. General Kozlov spent his final moments consumed with bitterness.
Interesting. He's the third Igor.
If I only had another chance, he said to himself. Alas, that is a privilege afforded to very few. Semenov's ambitions and neuroses eventually got him killed. He was a brilliant scientist, but could never come to terms with the collapse of the Soviet Union.
I think a lot of people are like that.
Though not a devout communist, Semenov could not stomach the chaotic aftermath, for it reflected the emptiness of his own heart. And so he chased his green
There's an interesting
Chernobylite
thing
dream,
to talk about when it comes to
hoping his
like the
experiments
collapse
would
of
usher in a new world order.
USSR.
In
like
reality,
what it did to the
what he
people who
sought was
lived
to fill the gaping void in his own soul.
in it.
In the end, everything he thought he had achieved disintegrated into nothing. He died, and NAR dissolved. Most of its mercenaries wiped out by either the Shadows or the Samoshels. All that remains of NAR in the zone are the empty barracks and derelict labs, stark reminders of a misguided ambition based on human misery. Faced with staggering losses, the shareholders halted all funding.
Great game. What a fucking fantastic entry into the I'll call it the stalker genre. I know, like, Stalker obviously was the first one to do it. There have been many afterwards. You know, you could even say Fallout to a degree comes from what Stalker has added. The newer Fallouts, not the older ones. But wow, great game. Great VA, cool story, multiple endings, obviously from what we can tell. I won't be going back and doing the multiple endings, but you guys are more than welcome to purchase the game. I believe it's $25. I think it was $25 on Steam. Small indie game. It's been in development for multiple years, and yeah, wow, just fantastic.